The NHL is terrified of this. It's heading in with the disrespect never being louder. The St. Louis Blues have one key player ready to prove people wrong, with multiple players speaking out. All signs are pointing towards not only a revenge tour, but a huge season from this Blues player that is labeled as the backbone of the team. We're going to break down all this, details on exactly why he's going to break it out, and so much more in this episode. You're not going to miss it. So, Darius, let's go straight into it today. Now, we know the St. Louis Blues start the season on Thursday. We're getting Jordan Binnington. A lot of disrespect coming from the league on this player. Now, shout out to Lou. Go check out this article. Will be down low. But the big thing with Jordan Binnington, we've seen a lot of smoke flying around his name. We've seen the NHL did rank their top 10 goalies. Jordan Binnington at number 7 is very good. There's 32 teams, but there's still articles flying around. We covered one just a few days ago of someone going in and saying the key reason the Blues are going to miss the playoffs is because of goaltending. We know the league hasn't given Binnington his flowers for being one of the best goaltenders, and players have really noticed this. Brayden Schenn said he works at it every day. I feel like there should be more respect there in those lists, but those are people's opinions. At the end of the day, you go out and prove people wrong, which he's done his whole career, and he'll continue to get better and keep on doing that. Now, Jordan Binnington, one of the best goalies in the league. We've seen the hot runs he can go on. We've seen him hoist the Stanley Cup with this franchise. Everything Jordan Binnington has done in his career doesn't get the respect from the national media, from other fan bases, everything in between. But Darius, what is your thoughts on Jordan Binnington going with huge aspirations? We have a quote from him and another player later, but what is your thoughts on Binnington? Yes, ranked top 7, but a lot of people are looking at him and not giving him the credit for what he does.
Definitely. And heading into this season, he wants to have another big season. The second half of last year was absolutely huge for him, both on the Blues and in the Four Nations face-off. And, in the playoffs, I thought he was great as well. So, games were really close, or it was a blowout for the Blues in that 7-game series against the Winnipeg Jets. So he had a great season last year. He wants to build off that. And like you said, the disrespect around the league is very loud for some reason. I don't know why, but, it's very loud right now. There's articles, like you mentioned, saying that if the Blues are to miss the playoffs, it's because of the goaltending, which is absolutely insane. We covered that in a video yesterday. If you look out there on Twitter, a lot of people are counting Jordan Binnington out. And I hope everyone had a good fantasy draft. I had mine last night. I took 5 Blues, and one of them is Jordan Binnington. That's how much I believe in this guy. And is he the best goaltender, the most consistent goaltender in the NHL? I don't know. That's up for debate, right? But one thing is for sure, he is the best in the clutch. There is nobody in this league that's better than this guy when it matters. If you need a save in any particular moment, you need somebody to come up big, give your team that energy. This is the goaltender that you want backstopping your team. This is the guy, right? And you can see some of the clips that you just brought up as well. Four Nations face-off, he was unbelievable. Second half of the season for the Blues, he was unbelievable. So absolutely love Jordan Binnington. I think he's going to have another big season. He comes with the theatrics sometimes as well, but that's all part of the fun of an NHL season. Sometimes it gets boring. He gets bored back there, right? He wants to throw his blocker around. It is what it is. But no, I think Jordan Binnington is going to have a great season. And to suggest that the Blues will not make the playoffs, or they'll be a failure this year and it's because of him or the goaltending as a whole, is so ridiculous in my eyes.
And I mean, the big thing is going further, and Jake Neighbours even spoke on it, calling him the backbone of the team. He's won everything. He's won the Four Nations. He's won a cup. You need to do everything to gain the recognition. He does. It seems like he doesn't get it, but I think there's only motivating him. And for us to continue proving why he's such a good team, he's obviously the backbone. Now, the big thing is we know the fans love him. The players love him. Management loves him. This is a player that's going to be a huge part of the reason why this team goes on a deep run. Listen, we're going to touch on Joel Hall of Famer Hofer very soon, but the big thing with the team, the defense is going to help him so much. Jordan Binnington is huge in the clutch. He has some stinker games. Everyone does, but looking at the defense, adding some young faces like Logan Mailloux to it, which is going to boost getting the puck up the ice. We know Cam Fowler extended. Colton Parayko will be here for some time. Broberg is taking the next step. Falk is still here, but the big thing with this Blues team is Darius, the goaltending, the defense, the forwards, everywhere is looking key. And do you think with Binnington having more forwards to keep the puck in the offensive end, with more defensemen to really take the next step and help out him, do you think there's going to be maybe a huge season ahead for Jordan Binnington.
Yeah, and you kind of alluded to it there a little bit. And it's not just having the puck in the the offensive zone and creating plays there. It's getting the puck out and transporting it out of the defensive zone. I think one thing that if you look at this blue line versus, 365 days ago, there's a lot of guys on this blue line that can move the puck. And that's one thing that I think, while not sacrificing defense, Doug Armstrong's done a great job at getting guys who can actually move the puck moving defensemen. And obviously you have your offensively minded defenseman and Logan Mailloux now and stuff like that. And Broberg's a great defenseman, right? But moving the puck, moving it with purpose up the ice. And I think that's going to be good for Jordan Binnington and not sacrificing speed either. These guys can probably skate it out, a couple of them themselves if they really needed to. So that might clean things up for Jordan Binnington. I think that there's also some there's a good dynamic with some of these defense pairings as well. So I think that you're going to see a lot more controlled exits. You're going to see more controlled play, good gap control, stuff like that. So I'm really excited for that. And that's going to help Jordan Binnington because he can come up with these big saves and he's a great goaltender. But, I've noticed that Binnington, at least from my eyes, deflections are a big thing, right? Of course, he tries his hardest, but deflections are a big thing. But I think a lot of these guys are going to be able to clear the front of the net to a degree, move the puck out, right? And not, have second, third chances coming down on Binnington. So that's going to help him a lot, I think. So a lot of it will have to do, with the defense. But at the end of the day, you're going to get that big save from Jordan Binnington. But I think this is a bit of a different Blues team than we saw a year ago.
And I think the big thing is too, listen, Jordan Binnington is one of the best goalies in the league. We know this, but he's also backed up by one of the best backups in the league with Joel Hofer coming through. We know Binnington's not going to have to be pushed to play 60 and 70 games that we see players like Connor Hellebuyck have to play because they have elite backup goaltending, a starting goaltender playing behind Binnington as well. This entire team is starting to mold this together. A big culture shift. We're adding new faces like Pew Suter, Logan Mailloux, Bukestad. These guys coming through are going to help even more offensively. They're going to get the goaltending. And the big thing is Binnington is going out. He spoke just in the moment. It's where we perfectly strive to be. Yeah, I feel good right now. It's just preseason. There's a long way to go, but I'm just trying to focus on my process. That's where my head's at. Jordan Binnington is someone that's not scared. We know he's not. Does he look nervous? He never does. This is a goaltender that's going to continue making the push. And Darius, we've seen the stats coming through the preseason. What was it? A .81 goals against average with a .973 save percentage. What is your thoughts on just this entire team going in? And do you think this is a team that's going to not shock Blues fans, because we know how good he is, but just shock the entire NHL on how good they actually truly are?
Yeah, they are. I think a lot of people maybe not counting out the Blues this year, but not realizing how much better this team is going to be with obviously Jim Montgomery, a full season of him, what they've done to revamp the defense, even the forward group, right? Look at the center depth, right? So really excited about that in terms of the team. But Jordan Binnington, like you said, it is only preseason. Keep that in mind. He wasn't facing the toughest competition and stuff like that, but the stats speak for themselves. And I think he's ready to go. He's building off of a really, really good season last year. So he looks prepared. He looks dialed in. There's going to be points during the season, like any season, where you're like, what is this guy doing? What is happening right now? It happens to every single goaltender in the NHL. But I think for the most part, he's going to lead the way this year. You have a solid backup as well. We're all sad about Colton Ellis getting claimed, and that sucks. But at the same time, you have a great backup goaltender in the Hall of Famer, or the future Hall of Famer, Joel Hofer. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch too. But yeah, I think ultimately, like, they're going to have a great season, and Jordan Binnington going to, maybe to a degree, lead the way.
And I mean, I think the biggest thing is too, at the end of the day, he can't be worse than Connor Hellebuyck in the playoffs, and Binnington is going to help this team get straight into the playoffs. But what's your guys' thoughts on all this? Go down and leave a comment below. Do you think Binnington has been getting too much disrespect from around the league? Not Blues fans, but maybe Chicago fans, anything in between. Boston fans are still salty as well. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And speaking of comments, we'll go straight into comments today. Coming from Teddy, I like the Blues roster going into the season. They will be better than most folks outside of St. Louis bubble think they will be. And this is the exact thing. This team doesn't get enough recognition that they should be getting. We've seen a team push the President's Trophy winners to a Game 7 and should have won this game, but the Blues are building something incredible. The NHL should be terrified of what they're doing. Let us know all your thoughts. How far do the Blues go? Do they win the Stanley Cup? How many points do they finish with? Is it the top of the division? Let us know all this in the comments, and you can be featured on Comments of the Day. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friend. We'll be back in another episode to keep your eye for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius, and take care, Blues fans.